it's not really easy for me to tell when a woman is really into me because I have a lot of female friends, and yeah, it's like in past situations where it's like I'm really into a woman and she just has like a really good vibe, really good energy. And I'm like, okay, is she just being nice or is she into me? Like, which is it? And I'll try to like pursue it and try to shoot my shot. And it turns out she doesn't see me the same way. And I'm just like, dang. But then there have been times when I'm like, you know what? She's just being nice. There's no way that she's into me. Turns out, oh, she was into me and I missed the boat. Hello, and welcome to Situaseans podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Williams, aka Shawnee Doo. You can call me Sean, Shawnee, Shawnee Doo. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just glad that y'all are here. Let's fucking go. I mean, come on. You all are such a great audience. I really appreciate everything you all do by tuning in, continuing to share the episodes and all the podcasts and everything, all the information with your friends, family, everyone. So keep on spreading the word. Again, this podcast runs on you. You are the lifeline. So continue to share with your friends, families, coworkers, anybody out there that you know is going through something, because this podcast is for everybody. We don't exclude nobody, but we include everybody. So again, assemble the group chat, share the podcast link with the group chat, because these are great bite-sized episodes for people to consume and be able to talk about all the things, that they're going through. And so that's why I say, yeah, share your stories, your questions, your life, anything that you're going through, submit it, just share it with us on this show and we'll unpack it right here on the show. You fucking matter. So yeah, today's episode, we're going to be talking about, is someone really into you, or do they kind of like just the idea of you? And a lot of you kind of already know where I'm going with this, where it's like, yeah, somebody that's into you, but like they're kind of friendly, but then, you try to go one step further to see, hey, am I compatible with this person? Like, you try to like shoot your shot and they're just like, yeah, I just see you as like a friend or a brother or a sister or whatever. So it's like, yeah. Or in some cases where it's like, you can tell that the person likes you, but then they're not putting in the effort, or maybe they're just kind of unsure. And so that uncertainty is rubbing off. And it's just like, well, if they were really into me, wouldn't they be also pursuing me as much as I'm pursuing them? Or do they just like the idea of me? They just want to be with somebody who is, who's just, that has all these qualities. And again, they like the idea of you, but they're not showing it in their actions. So yeah, it's a lot to unpack with that. Also, we got another listener submission. Again, thank you so much for submitting your questions, your stories, your life, experiences, because it's another drip of love on my heart when you share and submit. Situationspodcast.com/submit. So keep doing that and keep dripping more love onto my heart. But yes, as far as the listener submission today, I'm really glad that this person's had felt comfortable enough to kind of share this, because this one is something that a lot of people are going through, and it's kind of talks about planning and having fun date ideas, and not letting these dates all kind of just be the same. Oh, this coffee date or just going for drinks. So yeah, we're going to unpack that. Again, keep submitting your stories. And yeah, again, I really appreciate everything you all do. And again, sharing the podcast. I just can't say it enough. I hate to sound like a broken record, but you all are just making this experience and this podcast and me just being able to just share and just open up to you guys on such a public platform. You guys make it so less stressful, if that makes sense, because it's not easy going out here and just, putting out these episodes, talking about a lot of stuff that I'm going on with, like that's going on in my life. And yeah, not a lot of people are just comfortable with just sharing stuff like that, their private life in a public forum, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, just being able to just do this and just have you all's support, that means the absolute world. So thank you so much for your support. And yeah, I really appreciate everything you all are doing out there to keep this podcast going. So let's fucking go. Now, when it comes to figuring out if somebody really likes you or if they're into you, again, it's so complex. And sometimes people, they don't really say what they mean, or they speak behind context, and then it just gets confusing. And it's like, well, do they like me or what? Like, what's going on? And I know in my own situation, like especially in the past, there was experiences that I've had where it's like, well, I'm not somebody's first option. Like if it was like somebody that I was really into, almost half the time, if not more, I wasn't that first option. Like they would go after the bad boy or, the guy that would just treat them like shit and then come back to me and be like, hey, I want to give this a try. Like, what? Like, weren't you just over here trying to like get with this person and now you want to, try things with me after like, I'm like pretty much checked the fuck out. But yeah, that's definitely complex. And I know I'm not the only one that's gone through that, but it's so hard facing that type of rejection, especially if you've ever faced it for the first time. And then you're just trying to like process, well, okay, am I good enough? Like, does anybody want me? So it's definitely complex. And so, yeah, it's something that you got to kind of, look out for and try to navigate to the best of your abilities. But yeah, you know what? Also, I'm realizing these lights aren't on. So I'm going to like take a second to turn these little lights on. If you're listening via audio, then, it doesn't matter. You won't even see anything. But I like to have the feng shui of the lights, like that's what makes this whole podcast go. So I'm going to take a quick little 2 seconds. I'm going to turn like these little lights on right here. So give me 2 seconds. I'm glad the lights are on now. If you're listening via audio, it doesn't matter to you. You won't even know what I'm talking about. But if you're watching this on YouTube, youtube.com/@Situaseanspod, yeah, you can see I got the little lights on like next to my head. I like to kind of have a nice little lighting situation whenever I'm doing this podcast to kind of, make the background kind of pop a little bit, So yeah, had to make a little adjustment live on, film or whatever. So yeah, you guys get to kind of see a little bit behind the curtain. So, but getting back to what I was talking about, yeah, it's just so complex when it comes to situations like these. And yeah, when it's like, okay, somebody that you're into or somebody that you really like, and you're not sure if they like you back or if they're just kind of just playing around or playing with your emotions. Yeah, it just gets so freaking like complex and it just gets so tiring, So you got to navigate it to the best of your abilities, but know your worth, know your value. And if you're not the type of person that's like, yeah, I don't want to be somebody's number 2 choice. Yeah, value yourself. Don't be somebody's number 2 choice. Fuck that shit. Go and be, within yourself. And then when you're ready to find somebody who sees you as that first option, as, yeah, you're their first choice, hell fucking yeah. See what that's about, All right, y'all. So remember how I was saying that whenever, I'm doing this podcast, it's not easy to pretty much kind of just tell my whole life story or whatever in a public, I guess, medium. Yeah, it definitely isn't easy, but I do have something to tell you guys that's like, which is more vulnerable stuff. So it's for me, it's not really easy for me to tell when a woman is really into me, because I have a lot of female friends, and yeah, it's like in past situations where it's like I'm really into a woman and she just has like a really good vibe, really good energy. And I'm like, okay, is she just being nice or is she into me? Like, which is it? And I'll try to like pursue it and try to shoot my shot. And it turns out she doesn't see me the same way. And I'm just like, dang. But then there have been times when I'm like, you know what? She's just being nice. There's no way that she's into me. Turns out, oh, she was into me and I missed the boat. So it's just like, I need like a signal. I need something that's just like, like what's the person that's at the airport with the lights, whatever, directing the airplane and the airplane traffic. I need a fucking signal like that. Like, hey, I am into you. I like you. And yeah, I want to see where this goes. Like, I need a fucking signal. And it's funny because I was talking with a friend about this, about like how like, needing signals and everything or whatever, like just having like an open discussion about, like what we're into and stuff like that. And just, just having like a very open dialogue about past, like friendships and past, like, I guess like situationships or whatever that we've experienced, and just, like what makes us us. Cause I like talking about stuff like that with friends. Like, yeah, like, what makes me, me, what makes you, you. And I think that's another reason too, why I have I feel comfortable talking about stuff like this with close friends, because I know that they're not going to judge me and they're going through similar situations on their end as well. So just being able to just talk about that with friends, oh my goodness, I love being able to just, talk about the whole dating environment and trials and tribulations with close friends. But going back to the whole perspective of my own life and how I operate, yeah, sometimes it is just easier if I know whether or not a woman is into me, because from there, if she's giving that signal or she's giving me like that green light, I love being able to just lead, that conversation or that connection or whatever, because I'm just an open person and, I love being able to just, go forth. But yeah, I'm never really afraid of making the first move as long as I know that, hey, that person is into me, because from there, like, Shani loves to make those connections and loves to, talk and see where things are. And, because I have no problem shooting my shot. I just need to know if the basket or the rim is there for me to shoot my shot, if that makes sense. And by the rim, I mean the person that I'm into. Are they, going to be receptive to, me shooting my shot? Like, do I know that they like me before I shoot that shot? Or, so I don't know. Everyone is different, Of course, I shot my shot just being like, I have no idea this person likes me, but I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. But the older I get, I feel like the less like I'm willing to tolerate, because there have been so many cases in the past where it's like a girl knew that I liked her and then she took advantage of me, like, oh, pretty much like, oh, like I like you, but like only as a friend, or, but hey, can you take me here? Can we go do this? Can we go do that? Like wanted all of the boyfriend benefits from me without actually having to, be with me. And I'm just like, whoa, that's so fucking unfair. Like, how would you like it if I did that to you? So stuff like that, I'm just like, yeah, I can't, put up with that anymore. So I try to navigate these different environments the best way that I can, because I know my value. Like, I don't fuck around with that shit. I know my value. I know my worth. And if someone is going to see my worth from, day one, cool. But if they don't see my worth from day one, and then like they're coming in late or whatever, and they're just like, oh, now I see your value and your worth after I rejected you, like in the beginning, I see your worth now because these other people out here ain't really doing it for me. And I see now that you have, what I want in a person. And at that point, I'm like, well, I'd already checked out because I gave you that chance in the beginning, but you didn't meet me halfway. So I'm not going to sit here and wait for you to realize that this could have been something had we both been in that same headspace from the get. So everyone is different. We're all just trying to find our person. But at the same time, don't drag somebody else along if you're unsure or you just want to reap certain benefits from a person. That's unfair to them first and foremost. And it's unfair to yourself because now you are almost training yourself to kind of be that type of person. And now each time you make a connection, that like the people that you connect with, they're going to get pretty tired of that shit pretty fucking quickly. And then on top of that, if you're doing that with people that are like in a similar network as you, they're going to tell that one like person, they're going to tell like the next person, and then pretty much everyone's going to be like, yeah, don't fuck with that person because that person likes to just string people along and not really commit to anything because they are unsure. So don't be a dick. And that goes for whatever it is, you identify as man, woman, or otherwise, like whatever, you identify as, don't be a fucking dick. Just be open, honest, and transparent. Here's another little tidbit or kind of like a little secret kinda ish. So on the dating apps, I'm on Hinge right now. I kind of turned off all the others because I only found the most value in Hinge. But for as far as Hinge, I only go for like the girls that like me first in the app. Cause like in Hinge, you can see, if you pay or whatever, you can see who likes you. And I found myself going on way more dates, I guess this year, before I recently just started to just like only go on like a date every other week with a new person or whatever, like back, cause I was just tired of serial dating. But at the beginning of this year, oh my goodness, like I was serial dating like crazy. But anyway, so I was just going after the girls that liked me first on Hinge because I'm like, oh, well, there's a higher probability that we're going to get on that first date because I know that she likes me. So it's easier for me to shoot my shot and have this genuine connection through this text exchange on the app. And then once we get to that date in real life, okay, cool. Now we can both see if there is something there. Is that text energy on the app matching the energy on that date? So I'm trying to like navigate that and again, I found way more success as far as like having a good time on my end on the first dates, by going after the girls that like me first on Hinge. I'm like, okay, cool. I know they like me. Let me go ahead and, lead the connection from there. And because I like planning. If anybody that knows me knows that I fucking love planning, like planning dates, planning vacations. Shit, I'm about to go to Vegas the beginning of August. And I've been planning for this for about like a month or whatever. But anyway, I love planning shit. I love calendars. I love Excel spreadsheets and having like itinerary. Now, I'm the type of person that's like flexible. Now, I like having plans and stuff, but I'm not going to like be like, a hard ass about, oh, we got to follow each of these plans on the itinerary. No. I mean, it's just there as a guideline. So there's like, yeah, if I'm going somewhere, or I'm hanging out with somebody, or if I'm traveling somewhere, at least I have a guideline of the things that I want to do. And if I don't get to it, hey, it's fine. I can always come back later, at another time and do it. But at least I have a little bit of a guide or a gateway of what I want to do and how I want to spend my time wherever it is that I'm spending my time. So yeah. So anyway, getting back to like the whole dating thing, I love fucking planning dates. Like if, I'm about 99% of the time on especially on the apps, I'll ask the girl out first because I'll be like, oh, hey, what does your availability look like on this date or whatever at this time? Like maybe, We can get food or drinks, or, we can, or, hey, I know this great festival that's going on in this neighborhood. Do you want to go check it out? Like I love just planning dates. So yeah, I have no problem leading that, leading or taking charge when as far as, getting on that date and planning it all out. I love doing that shit. But yeah, it's just so much easier now with just going after the girls that like me, because I found that, a lot of the girls on the app that like me, I'm like, okay, yeah. Like I'm looking at the profile, I'm like, okay, yeah. Like they got their shit together from, face value. So yeah, I'm into them. Yeah, let me see what this looks like in real life. And then yeah, if it works out, cool. If it doesn't, hey, at least I went out on that date, or I reached out and made that connection to see if anything was there. Now, recently, there was this girl that I went out with back in like January, or maybe like December of last year, January of this year. And yeah, she was really cute. And I met her on Coffee Meets Bagel. And to make a very long story short, we had a pretty good connection on the app, got on the first date, went, to get, food and drinks, whatever. It was like, and it was like a nice little, relaxed date, because, we had like, it would have been fun to do like an activity or something like that, but wanted to kind of keep it low key, especially since it was like the dead of the winter. And it's like, okay, well, like, let's try to like stay warm, that like if we can. And then on top of that, she had an injury. So, wanted to be mindful of that, since, she had a cast on or like on her leg, since she injured herself. But anyway, so yeah, wanted to make it like the most, easiest date ever. I was surprised she still wanted to go on the date. That was like the first thing that I said. I was like, wait, you literally just, recently injured yourself and you still want to go out on this date? You sure you don't want to just push it back to when you recover? She's like, oh, no, let's do this. I know we've been, rescheduling and trying to make our schedules align. Let's go ahead and do this. Cool. Go on a date. Everything's cool. We're having great conversation, everything is just like, yeah, like the connection and like, everything about that date was just smooth as butter. Like it was a nice time. And then after the date, we said our goodbyes and everything. And then I had I had said, hey, do you want to hang out again? And she was like, oh yeah, for sure. I would love to hang out again. Yeah, let's definitely, stay in contact. Cool. So, about maybe like a day or two after the date, like we're still like talking or whatever. Actually, it was like, no, this was the day after the date. Yeah. So the day after the date, we're just like, trying to figure out the next, like the next hangout that we're going to do, or the next date we're going to go on. And then out of nowhere, it's just like radio silence. I'm like, okay. Like, yeah, she just stops responding. So I'm just like, and I at that time, I was literally asking, hey, throwing out suggestions like, or whatever, like, hey, let me know when you're free, like the next time. And, like, let's go ahead and, get another, date on the calendar or whatever. And yeah, just like radio silence. I was just like, okay. And then literally, about like a week ago from the time of this, that I'm recording this podcast, a week ago, she reaches out and was just like, hey, you. I'm like, what the fuck? I literally responded, where have you been? Like, or something to that effect. Like, like, cause I was just like, oh wait, I know what I said. I was like, I didn't expect this. Like, where, like, what's up? Where have you been or whatever? And then she just said, work got busy. Cause from what I can recall, she was like working 2 jobs, which is understandable. But at the same time, why not be transparent and honest? Hey, work is getting really busy right now, and I don't have the time that I thought I would to be able to commit to still going out on dates. Like, I'd like to take a pause on things. Like, I would have been fine with that, because, like, of course, when life gets hectic and crazy, yeah, of course, it's, you gotta look out for yourself, and you gotta take care of yourself and make sure that, you are putting yourself first so you're not overextending yourself. So yeah, she literally didn't even like give me a heads up on anything or about how crazy life was getting or whatever, and just went ghost, and then haunts me. I call it a haunting because she literally kind of comes back with a hey you, and then I respond, and then I'm like, okay, let's hang out. Like what is your availability looking like? She lets me know what her availability is, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, like let's go ahead and catch up, maybe over drinks, because at this point I'm not trying to like do some extravagant date activity, especially since she's unreliable. And, most of the time I pay for the dates, and I don't mind paying for the dates, but I'm just saying like, I'm not going to fucking blow like $100 or $200 or whatever on some extravagant, like, outing or whatever, hanging out throughout the day. Cause it was like a weekend that I think we were going to try to like schedule it. But anyway, I'm not going to like blow $100 or more throughout the day on this date if she's like unreliable. So I'm like, let's like ease back in with just like drinks, just to like, catch up and see where we're at and try to get like some sort of alignment and understanding of, hey, if you want to still hang out, I'm cool with that. I'm willing to give you a second chance, but you can't be just like falling off the face of the earth and then just coming back thinking like we can just pick back up from like where we left off. Like, I don't fuck around with that shit. Like, I don't do that to anybody else. And I damn sure don't expect that to be done to me. So anyway, it immediately turned me off because, like I said, this second time around, she reached out and I literally was like, hey, like, let's make a plan. Let's go, like, maybe let's do drinks. And then radio silence, just goes ghost again. So at this point, I'm just like, if she reaches back out, like, I'm blocking her ass. I'm probably going to just go ahead and just block the number right now because, yeah, I just can't put up with that because, yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like, who the fuck does that? But anyway, needless to say, this is why it's important to know your value and know your worth, because if you don't put yourself first and your heart first and you're just letting other people do and say what they want, they're going to walk all over you and you're going to be fucking miserable. So, and I refuse to be miserable. I want to live my life, the most authentic life and as full as possible. And if you don't fuck with me, that's all right. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And likewise, not everyone's my cup of tea. But if you want to get to know somebody, then get to know somebody. And if you don't want to get to know somebody, then get the fuck out. It's just as simple as that. So take care of yourself, love yourself, be easy and kind to yourself, and don't let others walk all over you. You fucking matter. If you join the Patreon page, patreon.com/Situaseans podcast, I'll show you that text exchange with the girl that went ghost. So you'll be able to see right then and there. Like, again, I got nothing to hide. I have no reason to lie or whatever. Again, I'm just telling you about my trials and tribulations and stuff that I go through, and like in my own life. But yeah, if you want to see that text exchange, join the Patreon. I told y'all, I'm sharing the screenshots. The screenshots ain't for the general public. If you want to get the insider information and all the shit that goes on the back end, I'm telling you, join the Patreon. Like, shit gets real over there. So yeah, I'll see y'all inside the Patreon community when you join. But yeah, I can't wait for y'all to see the screenshots, and I want to know what y'all think. So yeah, let me fucking know. Because if I'm the crazy one, shit, like, cool. And again, I don't like calling people crazy, but I'm just saying, if I'm the one that fucked up, absolutely, I'll be the first to like admit it. But this time, this was just like, this was just like uncalled for. So yeah, join the Patreon and get the exclusive shit and all the screenshots and stuff like that from like this experience, because you don't want to fucking miss it. Today is a great day to start your own podcast. Whether you're looking for a new marketing channel, have a message you want to share with the world, or you just think it would be fun to have your own talk show. Podcasting is an easy, inexpensive, and fun way to expand your reach online. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. Your show can be online and listed in all the major podcast directories like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more within minutes of finishing your recording. Hey, can I let you in a little secret? So I use Buzzsprout to host Situaseans podcast, and let me tell you, it has been the easiest tool I've ever come across for publishing and running a podcast. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, and the team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. So come on, join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Follow the link in the show notes, and that'll let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. And guess what? That gets you $20 credit if you sign up for a paid plan, and overall, that helps support our show. Let's create something great together. All right, so we got a listener submission again that we're going to unpack on the show. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. So this one says, do you have fun first date ideas? I'm tired of meeting at a bar or coffee shop. I prefer something new, but also not too long in case I'm not feeling the other person and I want to leave. Signed, Let's Have Fun. All right, let's have fun. Like, that's a really great, question and a really great topic that you brought up, because again, it's not easy trying to put yourself out there and, to all these different strangers and try to see which, one you want to, build a life with, essentially. And so, yeah, you want to make sure that first date isn't like repetitive like all the other dates. And yeah, you want to keep things fresh and fun. And so I'm totally with you. I that's exactly where I'm at. I'm like, yeah, like let's do fun date ideas. And so, yeah, it's so important to have creative, fun ideas, because for one, it gets, you out there in the world and experiencing way more, things like now you're exploring different neighborhoods or different foods or different cultures or, or different, events. So there's just so much going on. And again, having those fun first date ideas, yeah, it gets you out there in the world. So I highly commend you for writing in and asking that question to get advice, because yeah, like no first date needs to be repetitive. Oh, coffee, first date, or drinks. Of course the first date is for both parties to kind of, it's a vetting session to see, at the end of the day, it's a vetting session or an interview to see, are we compatible? And so, yeah, why not have the first date be something, fun and kind of engaging and interactive, because then you'll really start to see more of a dynamic side of that person in that date that you're going on. So yeah, you'll be able to see more from your date by doing a fun activity. Like, example, if you're doing I'm going to just throw this out here, like another fun date, like axe throwing. If you're going axe throwing, you're going to get a lot more energy out of that date, out of your date on that first date or whatever, than you would going for coffee. Because if you're going for coffee, it's like, the vibe is, chill, quiet, just, don't want to make too much noise because it's a nice artisan cafe, and, you want to be respectful of the environment. So, you're just enjoying your nice, cappuccino or whatever coffee drink that you're into in your date. Yeah, it's just like a very nice, cool vibe, right? Yeah. But if you're going axe throwing, it's loud, like you're getting in there, you're having a couple of drinks, you're fucking throwing axes at a target. So, I mean, it's definitely two different spaces, but you're going to get a lot more out of that first date going axe throwing than you would at a quiet coffee shop. Because again, you're seeing a different side of that person because you're out and about. And I mean, what do you got to lose? But I mean, besides maybe like a finger or a limb or some sort of extremity, if you're not careful with like throwing axes. But so yeah, like have those fun first dates. If that's what you want to do, bounce that idea back and forth off of your date to see, okay, yeah, what is it that we can do to make that first date fun and dynamic? And also see what your date is into. Because if your date, maybe like, for example, what if your date isn't into axe throwing, or what if they're sober? Of course, like if they're sober and they don't want to drink, they're not going to have that much of a fun time, going axe throwing. I mean, they might like throwing axes and they'll probably get like a virgin drink or something like that, or, or a water or pop or some shit. But yeah, like you got to weigh it out and see what it is your date is into as well. So don't just go out there suggesting dates or planning a whole date, because you're going to kick yourself like, kick yourself in the foot or whatever, or step on your own toes, I guess, by not really thinking twice. Like, wait a minute, hang on, let me see what it is this date is into. Yeah. So you don't want to spend all that time planning for that first date if your date isn't into the activity that you had planned. So first and foremost, check in with your date, see what it is your date is into. That way from there, you both will be able to navigate that accordingly. And as far as like fun first date ideas, I got some suggestions for you. So yeah. So some first, fun first date ideas, and these are things that I've done, like myself, especially on like first dates as well. So, and I'm the type of person, like, I'm not gonna tell somebody or suggest something to somebody or give advice to somebody that I wouldn't do myself. So I want you all out there to know that like I'm the type of person I practice what I preach. I'm not out here just telling you guys to try something or to get involved in something if I haven't done it myself, So yeah. So here's some first date, fun, dynamic first dates that you can kind of take away from that you may want to consider doing with your first dates out there. So I got, and again, it's not a long list. These are just short date ideas, like a short list of date ideas. And then, of course, you could take that back with what you will and see what it is you're into. And then again, you can always, again, work back and forth with your date to see what it is you both are into and both want to do. Yeah. So so here's a few. So we got, paint and sip sessions. Those are always fun. I mean, going, like having like a good couple of glasses of wine and doing like a little paint session. Like, it's fun. Like you really kind of get to see the other side of a person, and you get to see how artistic your date is. Wine or beer crawl or brewery. I mean, again, check in with your date to see if your date's sober or not. Because if your date is sober, then you're there's no point in doing a wine tour or a beer tour or beer crawl. Yeah, art gallery. Those are always fun, especially if you're both into art. And at the same time, even if they're not into art, like there's just so much about the whole like artistic space that can just reel in almost anybody. So that's like another fun idea. Yeah. Music festival or like an outdoor festival or a street festival. So if your favorite artist is performing and, you can tell your date, hey, like, let's go check this out. And maybe if they're into that artist, cool. So now you guys are both out there and just, just hanging out and having a great time. And on top of that, depending on whatever day that is, you still have enough time to like, go and grab a bite before you get to that festival. So there's still time that you can hang out, have that talk and see like, what's going on and stuff like that. And on top of that, this could always be like a second date. But if it's like a first date, it's easy because like, again, if you all are, especially if you both are buying your tickets separately, like don't buy the other person's ticket, because what if you guys aren't a match? Well, you just like wasted however much it was, like the price of admission of getting into that festival. So be mindful with that. Again, so it could be a second date idea, but if it's a first date idea, that's still fun too, because you get to see the other side of that person. Because if you're at an art festival or a music festival, yeah, you're out and about. You are opening up that social side of you. Music, yeah. So like I said, so another one is an escape room. Now this is the caveat. This is going to kind of sound like a little bit, I guess, a little bit counterproductive, because it's like, if you and your date aren't clicking here, both stuck in an escape room, that's not going to be a fun date. But if you and your date have good fucking chemistry and you're seeing that on the apps, and then maybe again, you all go and get food first, and then, you got the escape room, already booked or whatever, because you have to book in advance, like 90% of the time. So yeah, if you're going on that date or whatever, and that text energy is matching the date energy, cool. Like that escape room is going to be fun, like, that you're going to have a good time. But let's say that, like, you go to get food first and the energy just really isn't there. Well, I mean, you didn't lose out on a lot if you decide to not do the escape room. You just, go your separate ways. But hey, again, it's another great idea to get out there and not just go for the usual coffee or drinks or whatever it is that you are normally doing on your dates, that you are trying to now start to find something that a little bit more dynamic and fun outside of like the norm. So consider that one as well. And then, yeah, city or food tours. So if you're touring around the city, now this is another one where this can be a great first date, because it's like, yeah, if you're just doing like a city tour, you're going through multiple neighborhoods, or, or if you're trying different foods from different restaurants. So if at any point you're not feeling it, you could just go your separate ways and still enjoy your time wherever it is that you're in the city. So that's another great one. Farmer's market or like an artisan market. So now you're both walking around and enjoying each other's presence, and now you're seeing what each other is into. If it's like a farmer's market, you're seeing different foods and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Now, like maybe now they get you both talking. Oh, do you like to cook? Oh, cool. What do you like to cook? And then now you're exchanging recipes. You're exchanging like different ideas and stuff like that. And then you're kind of like, oh, well, I like to make this, or I like to bake this. And then you or your date might say, oh, that's so cool. I like to do this and this and this. And now you're having that connection. And then what if it's like, oh, well, if you want, sometime I can totally, cook this for you if you want. Boom. Like now, like you're getting in there, you're planning more dates. So like, I definitely recommend that one, because it's like chill. And again, it's not obligatory, because if you're not having a good time, either of you can just go your separate ways and it doesn't affect the other person. So, and dinner and live entertainment. So like, comedy or theater, or, like a music performance, or like, et cetera. So even with that one, like that's another great one, because if you're doing that, again, don't buy each other's tickets. You both buy your own ticket, go on that date. And then, yeah, if your date is enjoying it, cool. Like the dinner is going great. The energy is there. The in-person energy is matching the text energy. Cool. Now you're ready to go to that live event. You can go see that comedy show or whatever, because of course you don't want to do a live, entertainment event first. Like you want to at least get dinner or sit somewhere to talk first, kind of like, have a chance to talk. Because if this is the first date and you just go straight to the theater, or you're going straight to that comedy show or whatever, you're not going to, you obviously aren't going to be talking. So what's going to end up happening is, you're going to get there, and of course, you're going to be just sitting there watching the show. You're not going to be able to get to know each other, because of course it's fucking rude if you're both talking instead of like watching the entertainer on the stage. So I highly recommend, grabbing drinks or go to get a bite before you get to that live entertainment. That way, again, you have that chance to get to know each other a little bit more before you sit down and, put your focus on the entertainer. Or if you feel hella confident about each other, maybe you do the entertainment first, like you go to that show or whatever that event is, and then afterwards you both go and get a bite afterwards, and see if it, continue connecting and seeing if it works. So yeah, again, you have to check in with your date, see what it is that your date is into. So these are just like some very easy to do, very, like feasible date ideas to kind of just, get the gears turning. Be creative in your own way, like whatever it is you're into, because these date ideas that I just suggested, you might be like, Sean, like, I don't like that shit. Like this does nothing for me, or my date isn't into that. Like I need something better. So we're all different. So definitely use these ideas that I just suggested to you as kind of a guideline and or a starting point. And from there, you can just you can form some ideas of your own, write down a list of things that you're into and the things that, you really want to do, and see if your date is into it. And then you have that conversation with your date and you both get out there and you have a great ass time connecting, because if it goes great, you guys check in and see what else, what else is on, next on that list that you both want to do. And from there, your connections get stronger and stronger. Now you're seeing more of a, open, vulnerable side of that person. And it's just going to get better and better from there, especially if you both are planning the dates. Don't be the person that just plans it and your date just sidelines it and just shows up, because that's going to get tiring for you and or your date. Like, make sure that both of you are planning it. Like, maybe this time you plan it, the next date your date, plans it. Like, definitely share that responsibility, because if it's just on you, that shit piles up and it gets tiring and it ain't going to be fun. And women, you you are so strong. Like, women are fucking superheroes. Like I fucking swear, women are fucking superheroes. Like, the stuff that women can do and the stuff that women are able to accomplish, oh my goodness, it's just inspiring. And so, before I go on like a long tangent, like the point that I'm getting to is, women, especially the women that date guys, like, have higher expectations for the men on these apps that you're going out with, or that you like, or that you want to explore things with. Have higher expectations for them and get them to want to plan, because if you go on these dates or whatever and the guy isn't planning anything and you're just planning it all the time and you're just accepting it, like, that man ain't gonna fucking see your value. He's just gonna expect you to keep doing it. So yeah, like, have higher expectations for the men on these apps. Be like, like, definitely, like, ease into it and be like, hey, I really like you, and yeah, I want to see, where this goes. We should meet up sometime. Like, do you have any date ideas? Like, put it, like, it's okay to put it on the guy in that situation, and let him, let him, step up to the plate. Let him be a man, and if he can't do it, that's fine. Take with what you will. Just know that at least you tried. And if the guy isn't putting in the effort, then hey, he might not be worth it. But yeah, have higher expectations for the men on those dates that you go out with, and definitely have a great ass time. All right. Thank you so much for the listener submitting that question. And yeah, it's just so fun just being able to just unpack this with you all and kind of just bounce like my ideas and stuff like that, like with you all on this show. Again, I'm just so appreciative of everything that you all do. Like this podcast runs on you. So thank you for submitting your story. So continue to do that. And again, there are 3 ways that you can submit to this podcast. The first way is going to the website, situationspodcast.com/submit, or you can email us situationspod@gmail.com, or call the hotline 312-586-2664. And again, you let it ring to, if you're calling, let it ring to the voicemail, and then you leave your voicemail, and then we'll play it on the show. So you got 3 ways to submit. Follow us on all social media. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys back here in a couple of weeks for the next episode.